Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our flight in discovering, learning just a little bit more about the language. In this episode, I'm talking about something I heard in our language use often, but I never put much thought to it until today. In preparing this episode, I learned on how exactly that works, and it amazed me. It definitely opened my eyes. So it's a discovery for me. I'm very excited. Just know a little bit more about this language I was born into. 三纲五常 we talked about yesterday. I call it Confucius commandments. So the 3+5 principles in life. So Confucius mostly view life in terms of relationships, like where you are exactly in the net of a society, like what's your position, and you are supposed to behave accordingly. Okay, so that's our 三纲五常, and then we have another digits plus description word expression. So we have 3 and 2 here. 三长两短. So we have 3 long and 2 short in today's expression. 3, we talked about before that the top line is our sky, the bottom line is our ground, and then the middle line is the humans in between. So it's kind of our vision of creation of the world order. And if you know we have 1, 2, 3, so if we only have one line, it simply means the sky. And then 2 is the sky and the ground, right? And then we have 3, then you know people, humans in the middle. And we talked about 两. So again, if we have 1, which is up there, horizontal line, that's our sky. And that's the concept 1, because in Chinese understanding of the creation of the world, the sky came first. So from that first, we have a line going down in the middle. That means it's going to split into 2 portions. And then we have this frame, this space, and within it, we have this kind of human figure thing twice. So it means, okay, almost like colognes, like the 2 sides, exactly mirror image, the exact same content within those 2 space. So that's our understanding of from 1 is split into exact 2 same copies of things. So this 两, often we use it as pairs, the concept of pairs, the exact, well, in terms of like you have a pair of, say, hands or foot, of course, left and right hand have slightly different, their own individuality a little bit, but they're basically twins, right? In the sense of they are close enough to regard as a pair. They look the same, work the same probably. So that's our concept of 两. Simply means a pair of something. And 长 and 短. 长, we actually talked a little bit in yesterday's expression, 三纲五常. Well, not exactly before, but okay. 长, we have this. Wait, did we talk about that yesterday? Oh no, we talked about 2 episodes ago. Okay, that 长 means long, but it came from a pretty loaded icon that can be separated into 3 portions. So we have the top portion here and this. Together, it means death. Okay, so and probably this horizontal line as well. But it's the death character positioned flipped. It's a mirror image, flip this way. Okay, so this line should be, originally the death should be like hanging low on here, the ground level, instead of the sky level. It should come down to the ground level. And then we have this kind of human figure in there. And the whole thing means death. To me, it's still kind of mystery, like why language creators use this symbol to mean death. It probably depict like a status, existence, like things are stuck in there. No more change, no more evolution, or no more development of that thing. So, but once it's flipped over instead of in its original look of things. When you have the ground level, this human figure hanging up there, that means the opposite of death is non-death, is immortal. And then we have this shared horizontal line that we often use as the sky, right? And then we have this human figure on two legs separated. That means the highest point on the human body. Because if we look at the human body like that, and then you add a horizontal line of that, it doesn't mean the head of the person touched the sky. No, because that's not going to happen, right? But it simply means that horizontal line means the highest point of that person, which is the head, right? So that means the high ground. And then we have this bottom, almost like F, right? English letter F. And that F actually is also a flip mirror image of something like this. Originally, it was like this written because it came from this shape. We have human figure. If we have left and right symmetrical, it looks like this, right? But in ancient Chinese, human figure often written like the right side is a little bit longer than the left side and a little bit curvier. So that's how human figure was drawn in its normal form. But sometimes things are reversed. The left side is longer than the right. When it becomes like this, it means something changed. So, I mean, is that human a human still? We don't know, but it definitely means something is changed. So eventually, like this means change. That's the symbol for change. And you can see this is a flipped figure of that change symbol. Well, that goes a little bit deeper than my knowledge of like if the change symbol got flipped, like a mirror image flipped, what exactly does that mean now? I don't know what's in the mind of language creators, but we have three symbols of non-death. We have this high ground and also something about to change, whether it's a good change or bad change or whatever meaning that it was loaded in back then, simply means overall, long scale of things, or long term, over the long term. The high ground means on a high level, and this non-death means over the long term, something is going to change. Good or bad, we couldn't tell. But this long term, this non-death, out of the three symbols, that becomes a dominant concept of the whole thing pieced together. It means something is going to last a long time. And in terms of, time scale, that's long. And we also expand that implication of in a spatial sense, that's going to be long distance between A and B. So in both of spatial and the temporal sense, this is going to be something extended, long, expanded. So that's our long concept. And we have a duan. Duan came from, you see the same, this symbol of human figure separated, topped with a horizontal line. That means the high ground, right? And then we have this kind of upward shooting arrow looking symbol over there, right? So the whole thing actually is a visual depiction of arrows going out, or probably, or the arrows kind of staying between the mechanism. So in this sense, it doesn't mean high ground. It means it's a visual depiction of the bow, the mechanism between the top portion and the bottom portion of the bow. So when you have the arrow rested on there, right, before it shoots out. So in ancient times, it turns out that bow and arrow are commonly used. So in comparison, the bow is the longer of the two things, and arrow is the shorter of the two things between the bow and arrow. So eventually this arrow are used to imply This is the shorter one. This is short. Okay. So by itself, it already has the meaning of short, right? Because between bow and arrow, that's the shorter one. And then the right portion would simply add another element to make the sound. It's the sound maker, but it came from this container. You see the circle container? The container sits on a stand, and then it has a lid covering it. So this was used to be ancient food container. And eventually this food container was used to signify the food that it often contained, which is beans. So by itself, the right side sound like a dough, and that means beans. And okay, dough in ancient, in English, how we can relate to that? We have tofu, right? Tofu, T-O-U-F-U. And this tofu, the toe portion, is the current dough. We switch out the T with D. That is this character. And that's beans, because tofu are made of beans. So there we go. That's how you can relate and memorize. So what does it mean? 3 longs and 2 shorts. Okay, it means this risk is so high, it can cost your life. The 3 longs and 2 shorts are simply the structure of a coffin. So the coffin, we don't have the lid of the coffin considered there, but simply the 3 panels, the long panels. Okay, imagine the making, the material of a coffin making. It will have 2 walls and the bottom. These are 3 long panels, right? And then on the 2 ends are going to be 2 short panels. So these 5 pieces, apart from the lid, are the main materials made up of coffin. So we don't say it may cost your life. We say it may cost you to get into those 3 longs and 2 shorts structure. It's implied that that's you may become a dead body if you take this risk. So that's our expression of 三长两短. I often heard it in our daily language use. It's almost like a mother, tell their children, don't you take too much risk. Like, what if you're going to have some 3 longs and 2 shorts, 三长两短? What are we going to do? So kind of like in that context. So you don't want any 三长两短 situation, but risk taking in Chinese culture is kind of a low. It also depends. It's a spectrum, right? So most of people are not encouraged to take this approach, like don't take too much risk, but some do. We do have some daredevils over there as well. So okay, hope everybody stays safe and nobody have any 三长两短 incidences. All right, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.